plan this?
Not this part.
You will not hear the words erotic and romantic sports drama together very often, and this is where the much anticipated movie, Challengers, starring Zendaya, breaks the stereotypes. The movie has been a hot topic of discussion ever since reports of steamy scenes involving the main characters were confirmed, and the intriguing storyline stirred up some curiosity among the fans. There's also a lot of speculation on whether or not the movie is secretly based on real-life characters and events. Now that the film has finally been released, in this video, we will explore the complex narrative and also simplify all the answers that you might be seeking after watching the movie. There will be some major spoilers along the way, so you have been warned. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. How does a girl impact the career and life of two young tennis prodigies and best friends after a love triangle starts developing? The plot of Challengers simplified. The movie starts off with the introduction of two childhood best friends, Art Donaldson and Patrick Zweig, who are simply inseparable. They are also extremely talented tennis players, and in 2006, they win the junior doubles title at the US Open, making them promising prospects for the future. However, the dynamics and bonhomie between the two are affected after they come across another promising tennis player named Tashi, an attractive young woman who makes both Art and Patrick fall for her. The initial stages of their complicated relationship are fun-filled, enthusiastic, and youthful interactions, and they end up making out in a hotel room where they barely stop short of having a more intimate physical relationship. The very next day, Art and Patrick are supposed to play against each other, and Tashi suggests that she will give her phone number to the winner of the match. As it turns out, Patrick wins the contest, and in a bizarre moment, he places the tennis ball in the neck of the racket to signal to Art that he has left with Tashi. Yes, this is apparently a weird signal between the two, which comes in handy later in the movie as well. The second stage of this complicated relationship unfolds when Tashi and Art head to Stanford University to play college-level tennis, and Patrick becomes a professional tennis player. Patrick engages in a long-distance relationship with Tashi, and Art tries his best to stem the seeds of doubt in Tashi's mind during this period. The plan doesn't work directly, but Patrick and Tashi's relationship is soon strained under certain circumstances. For starters, Tashi used to give him a lot of unsolicited tennis advice, which he always ignored, and later, when Tashi develops a severe knee injury during a match, Patrick fails to be the one to comfort her. She turns him down, and Art takes her side during her recovery phase. This marks the end of her tennis career because the impact of the injury will not allow her to participate in professional tennis tournaments. The narrative has another major time jump, and it is revealed that Art and Patrick never spoke again after the tragic injury that Tashi incurred. Meanwhile, Art and Tashi reconnect, and she even becomes his coach as a romantic relationship soon starts to blossom between the two. They get engaged in 2011, and Art's career is on an ascending curve during this time period. However, these romantic developments are interrupted by an instance of infidelity, where Tashi runs into Patrick and the two have a one-night stand, which Art secretly knows about. Many years go by, and Tashi and Art now have a young daughter, and Art has become one of the top tennis players in the country. He is simply one US Open title away from a career Grand Slam, but his repeated injuries are becoming a concern. During this period of struggle, Tashi decides that it will be best for him to enter a low-level contest in a challenger event where he can win his confidence back. Meanwhile, Patrick hasn't quite had the success that Art enjoys, and he lives out of his car and survives on the winnings from such low-level tournaments. He also participates in the same tournament as Art, and as luck would have it, the two find themselves up against each other in the finals. The day before the match, Patrick tries his bit to reconcile with Tashi, but his efforts are in vain. He senses that she is not happy with Art, but his advances are rejected by her. However, She has a change of mind after Art informs her that irrespective of whether he wins or loses, he plans to retire at the end of the season. This comes as a shock to Tashi, who has been living her tennis dreams through Art's career all her life. She realizes the importance of the finals against Patrick and secretly meets him again. She offers him to throw the match to Art, and the two have a physically intimate moment as he reluctantly agrees to her proposal. The final stage of their relationship is unveiled during the course of the final match, where Tashi watches them from the crowd. Art and Patrick seem to be evenly matched, and they each win a set during the first 2 sets. Soon, Art starts to take a lead in the final game, and Patrick begins to throw the match just like he promised. Just short of losing, he uses the signal that he used years ago to hint about his physical relationship with Tashi. Art is stunned, and soon, the scores are even between them. The game intensifies as they trade turns, and the rally culminates with both of them jumping for a volley at the net. As Art smashes the ball onto Patrick's side of the court, the two old friends collide, and they embrace each other in an emotional reunion as Tashi cheers from the stands. The movie ends on this note, without even offering a formal closure as to what happens at the end of the match, and how the 3 individuals handle their complex love triangle and emotions. Who really wins the match in Challenger's Climax? Ending explained. As we have discussed already, the movie boils down to the point where the 2 former best friends, Art Donaldson and Patrick Swayze, face off in the final. The game of tennis might simply be a metaphor here, but in terms of the story, it still determines the future of Art and Patrick. The former, of course, is now married to Tashi Duncan, and Patrick used to be her ex-lover with a lot of history between them. If Patrick wins the contest, he will rise up the ranks into the top 100 of the ATP rankings, and this will give him an automatic entry into the Grand Slam events. Art, on the other hand, has a lot at stake because his loss would mean that Tashi would leave him, and the future of their daughter would be jeopardized. As the match intensifies, Patrick pulls out a devastating blow when he places the ball in the middle of his racket. This is actually a signal for the 2 weirdos that they have been physically intimate with Tashi, and Art is shocked because he is not aware of the recent fling between Patrick and Tashi. Irrespective of the shocker, the story takes a different direction, as after a period of intense volleys, Art launches the ball into the air, and while pushing it towards Patrick, falls over the net. They embrace in an emotional moment, and Tashi cheers from the stand. According to the rules of tennis, Art loses the point for this one, but we do not get to see how the rest of the match plays out. It is up to the interpretation of the viewer. But what is perhaps more important is the dynamics between Art and Patrick. The movie ends with them choosing each other over the conditions that limited their friendship for all these years, and Tashi, who was clearly aware of the depth of the bond between the two, cheers from the stands for this reason. At the risk of sounding cheesy, irrespective of the outcome of the match, they both win because Patrick and Art have finally found a way to deal with their emotional baggage. Was Challengers inspired by a real-life story? The movie attracted as much attention at Wimbledon as it did among the audience because people kept drawing parallels between the movie and real-life characters. The speculations around the movie being based on a real-life story or the final match between Art and Patrick being inspired by an actual tennis match are not irrelevant because the screenwriter, Justin Kuritzkis, has admitted that there are some cinematic references that he took from real tennis matches. The match between Naomi Osaka and Serena Williams during the 2018 US Open, for instance, where the former defeated Serena in a dramatic duel, gave Justin the idea for the cinematic moments during such intense tennis encounters. However, the most genuine inspiration has been drawn from Mirka Federer, the wife of the tennis legend Roger Federer, who has stood by him like a rock all along his successful career. The screenwriter revealed how he was inspired by watching her stressed-out expressions as her husband clashed with Novak Djokovic during the 2019 Wimbledon match. Even Serena Williams was quick to draw parallels with the couple after watching the movie, and she explained how many successful male tennis players are actually heavily reliant on their partners. Mirka Federer was also a professional tennis player forced to retire because of a severe ankle injury, just like Tashi in the movie. She then became Roger Federer's manager and managed his entire life and game. Of course, the love triangles, threesomes, and other unnecessary drama are missing from the life of this adorable couple, and Challengers add its own spices to make things more entertaining. Thus, only the basic structure of the equation between Art and Tashi is based on real-life characters, but not the final match exactly, or the complexities of their relationship. Marvelous Verdict, a complicated and riveting blend of romance and tennis. Challengers is not your typical romantic movie because of the complications associated with the plot. However, it is still quite entertaining with a light-hearted storyline and fast-paced narrative. The acting performances from the likes of Zendaya, Mike Feist, and Josh O'Connor are remarkable, and so is the background score. The story is set in the backdrop of tennis, but it would be unfair to call this a sports drama because it's more about the evolution of the relationship between the three protagonists. There are some corny moments and some of the scenes will make you wonder what on earth is going on, but the confident execution from the director makes it work. Overall, Challengers is not for those who want to enjoy a conventional romantic drama, and we don't recommend the movie for the ones who don't appreciate complicated and twisted relationship dynamics. Don't forget to tell us in the comments below about your thoughts on the movie. We would love to know what you think of the bizarre storyline, and also weigh in on who won the final match between Patrick and Art according to you. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone!